Today I'm going to go through how to put cruise control on a 2023 Ford Transit. Very first thing you need to have is the cruise control switch itself. It's important to take a picture of these barcodes on the back of the switches, take a picture of the box. You're going to need that later for when you're programming your switch into your car computer. I used a 2.5 ton jack and a screwdriver and a flathead screwdriver and a simple ratchet set. Here I am getting into the battery of the 2023 Ford Transit. It's underneath the driver's seat. I'm disconnecting the battery, and I am doing that so that the airbag doesn't deploy while I'm disconnecting it from the steering wheel. I think it's important to note that I am not a skilled, trained vehicle mechanic, and I do not know what I'm doing. I think showing you right here how I'm jacking up this vehicle is a good example as to how I have no idea what I'm really doing, and I would not look to this video for any advice at all. Here's what I can say is that I did this on my own vehicle. I didn't totally break it, and now I have cruise control on my Ford Transit. It's important to jack up the front wheels because you need to be able to rotate the steering wheel when you are removing the airbag. And here you see me testing the steering wheel, and the battery is basically totally disconnected. I'm just testing to see if it all turns on. Now I'm putting it in a drive so I can actually rotate those wheels, and you'll see in just a second why that's important. So forgive the shaky video, but I'm just showing you behind the steering wheel now. You'll see these little clips I'm pointing at, and those are the ones that you will have to get with your flathead screwdriver. So I have a short flathead screwdriver, and you can see the clip moving a little bit. There's 2 clips on either side. Here I got the first one, and then you have to rotate the steering wheel. So that's why you have the front jacked up. Here I rotate it the other side. And with the screwdriver, I got the second clip after some trying, and the airbag popped out. It's connected by wires, so you don't want to pull it out. There's a little clip inside there on the center part of this airbag. You gotta pop open the little clip on there and then release it. There's also 2 little wires that are connected on top. You'll see it. And here I am now just pulling back the trim very gently. What's important here in all of these parts of the process is just being gentle. You don't really have to try too hard. This thing kind of comes right out after a little bit of trying. I'm sure there's a specialty tool for this, but I just use my hands, and I made sure to get all the wiring out of that trim piece. And before you pull out the wiring, you have to pop the little clips that connect the current switches that are already in the trim piece. And now you have the trim piece by itself. Take it over to your table, and you're going to remove the tiny little screwdrivers, which are just a regular standard Phillips head. And you have to pop the clips. And here I am showing you that you could just take another flathead and pop open those clips, and they kind of pop right out after you take out the small screws, and then they clip right back in. And then you screw the tiny little screws back in to the backside of the trim, and then you do everything in reverse. So make sure you know what's going where. Rethread the wiring carefully, gently, and then clip those pieces back in, and then push the trim piece straight back in to the steering wheel. I'll just make a note here and say that this whole process, part 1 of just installing the switches, took me about 2 hours. Then you take the airbag and make sure you get everything back in its right place. I did a really bad job here, and I think I have to go back into it, but it's not a big deal. I know how to do it. And then you make sure to connect everything back properly, and you push the airbag straight back in. And now you're just doing everything in reverse. You are lowering the vehicle as gently as possible with whatever tools you got and reconnecting that battery carefully and storing it back the way you found it. And that is part 1 of installing cruise control in your Ford Transit. Part 2 will go through how to have your computer in your Ford recognize the buttons and make sure it all works. Thanks.